evening, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's College Football Huddle. How's everybody doing tonight? We're probably not live on Facebook yet because I forgot to stop streaming the unprofessional sports show over on National Streaming Sports. So we'll take a look and try to get those feeds fixed here in a second. Let me just see what's going on here. Facebook used to let us, share as many of these feeds as we wanted, and now they don't seem to want to do that. So let's just see what we got going on here. Or we won't have anybody in the show tonight. Well, we got 4 people here already. Anybody on? Why have I got a? I must have something. Hang on, guys. I must have something else open here, but I don't. And I do not have a good stream going. I can see right now that I've got. Oh, we're live. All right, cool. I'm going to get rid of that and see if that helps. All right. How we doing now? Better? Is my feed better? I look to see if I have any. Okay, we look good. Oh, guys, welcome. I welcome everybody on Facebook. We're live. Somehow Facebook did their job this time. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitter. I want to thank all the groups. You can see them. Some of them are some of our favorites, not the only ones we love. We love them all, that allow us to share our shows, this one and all of my podcasts. So I thank them, specifically John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities. Actually, we won't talk about Greg Rawlings because he's a baseball guy, but check out America's Pastime. Love of baseball. Flo and the gang at Bottom Line Sports. Let's Talk Sports. Ken Krause at Golf Buds, Sports of All Sorts. Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. He and Smoking Jim Frazier do the Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Going to do a guest shot there next Tuesday, probably at 4:30. If you want to check that out, we'll be talking some college football, just like we will tonight. DDH, thumbs up. And Mac McGrath, thumbs up to you too. Know you're watching over us, so thank you so much. Guys, we're going to talk some football tonight. We're 1 week away, well, almost a week, 10 days away, I guess, from finally getting to college football. A little bit early this year, the 23rd we will start, or is there a game? I think those games are all the 23rd. Week 0. First time ever we've had a week 0 matchup with ranked teams, Iowa State against Kansas State, excuse me, not Kent State. Jesus, they might be the worst team in the country. But also an interesting matchup with UNLV and Idaho State. I'm very interested in the Dan Mullen era getting kicked off in Vegas. I think this team is a dark horse for that group of 5 playoff spot. So do not sleep on that team. We'll take a quick look at the AP. We looked at the coaches poll last week. The AP is the one that we rely on. Not a lot of different stuff here. You got a few guys, a few teams moved around, which we'll talk a little bit about. Trying to see if there's anybody who's not in either one of the polls. I don't think they look all the same, except the biggest thing is Penn State has leapfrogged in AP, leapfrog Ohio State into that number 2 spot. Keep in mind, too, guys, as we talk about this, Texas, they'd be 5 points. 5 points, by the way. Texas got 25 first-place votes. Penn State, 23. Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami round out the top 10. We talked a lot last week. I'm going to get some comments in a second. We talked a lot last week about what teams we think may not hold their water, if you will, throughout the season. 18 of the last 20 years, one of these top 10 teams falls out of the top 25 altogether. Who's the most likely of this group? It's probably Miami, quite frankly. Even as a Miami fan, I'll tell you that. I think Alabama could have a shot, although I think Alabama's going to be much better. I think they could have a shot. But I have gone out on a limb, Rick Sherlock. I'm very sorry to say. Sorry. Good evening, Rick. I'll get to that in a second. But I have gone out of my way to say the team that will drop the furthest from this top 10 ranking is Georgia. I think it's still going to be a good team, but I think Georgia's time at the top for now, just for this year, could be coming to an end. We'll see how that goes. What's Rick saying here? Allen's Oklahoma team signs 5-star edge rusher and their quarterback being investigated for gambling. Yes. Mateer has some interesting Venmo activity being investigated for gambling. He said it's all just joking around. We'll find out. There's a lot of this stuff going on, guys, in college and the pros. You get in bed with gambling sites. You send a message that it's okay. Listen, I gamble. I like to gamble. I talk about my escapades here. I stay within my means. It's just for fun. But you're sending kids the wrong message, man, that it's okay. By the way, we'll talk some coaches on hot seats, and to me, there's nobody on a hotter seat than Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Nobody. Got some great matchups. What else can we want to talk about this? We can talk about anything. Again, these shows, I like to get into some things, but the shows are for you guys too. Coaches hot seats. We got quarterback tiers. We'll get to at some point. Probably not tonight. Archie Manning says, if you're an NFL team and you're thinking about tanking for Arch, don't do it because he's staying through next season. Archie Manning's not a guy I know to bluff and just blow smoke. Ty Simpson wins the Alabama job. I don't think that's a big surprise. Lawsuits are everywhere, by the way. Miami suing Wisconsin, the Pac-12 suing the Mountain West, and the Mountain West is suing the Pac-12. We'll get into some other stuff. Anything you guys want to talk about, anything you're interested in. We get into week one, we already know. We've got some great matchups, including 3 games in matching top 10 teams in it. We'll find out about a lot of teams. I'm going to tell you, I like Notre Dame again a lot. Rick, I talked about it last week. I know you're not quite sold under coach yet. I don't know what he's got to do to get you sold, but I'm not going to pick them to win the national championship. I might pick them to win. I'm not betting them. As you know, I had a great run. Didn't make any money with my pick as Notre Dame and betting Notre Dame. And using some free stuff with some of the betting sites to, have an $7,500 payday that just missed by a half of football. Anyway, what else we got here? Who else is with us here? Dave Guyette, how you doing, buddy? Syracuse, decent matchup first week. Listen, Syracuse is going to score a bunch of points again. They got a great receiving core. I'm not sure yet about the quarterback situation. As they've got the kid Aguiar from Notre Dame coming. Not Aguiar. What's his name? Crap. I know I'm giving you the wrong name. I hate to do that. I did this last week. What's his name? Syracuse QB. Maybe it is Aguiar. Anyway, he was a backup at Angeli. I was close. I had the A right. Angeli coming in after backing up at Notre Dame the last couple of seasons. I'm not sure he's going to be nearly as good as Mr. McCord was last year, but they still got a plethora of great wide receivers. Hello, Alan. How are you, my friend? Any doubt? Is there any doubt, Alan, that your guy is on the hottest seat or one of the hottest seats in college football? I really don't think so. Or I really believe so, I should say. AC, how are you, my friend? Good to have you with us. Michael, how are you, my friend? Check out Michael's writings, by the way. Michael has sent me several pieces, and Michael, I might add a couple of the older ones that you sent me, if you don't mind. Michael's does some great writing. He sent me some samples of his work, and we're going to be sharing it on TGI Sports Talk. And I'll probably in turn share to my personal page. I want to get Michael some exposure. Good stuff, guys. Please go and check out his stuff, like it, share it, and let's get him some props. And Michael, I do want to chat with you. I want to make sure that we get your name in that when you do the articles, right? I think I was able to attach it to the comment you put on. But I think if you tag TGI Sports Talk, I didn't see the article in the one. Maybe I was missing something, but I went back and I put it in. So we'll talk about it, you and I. But anyway, check out Michael's stuff. What's Michael saying here? Oops, somehow I put your, there you go. Oh, there you go. I don't mind at all. Friend, appreciate your work. Hello, everybody. I think I missed a bunch. I somehow, oh, you know what's happening here? I guarantee you, I'm hitting something and I'm scrolling down. I went too far and I missed some of Michael's comments. Here we go. Money is intoxicating, an intoxicating lure for kids, and gambling an easy road that looks free and clear. You'd think with kids getting NIL money, and it's not all of them. I know Mateer is, so you think he'd be immune, but they're not going to be. And by the way, it's not as simple as kids have to throw a game or shave points to be able to help somebody out, help a gambler out, help themselves out. I mean, because you have wagers on individual performances, which are very easy to kind of manipulate, if you will, and hopefully not affect the outcome of the game. But everything affects the outcome of the game. And again, these leagues, I don't care if we're talking about the NCAA or we're talking about the NFL or MLB or the NBA, they've all gotten into bed with these gambling sites. And they send the wrong message. They tell you can't gamble, but then they take lots of money from the gambling sites. Nuts. So great to see juicy week one. Absolutely. Listen, even week 0 for me, after no football, you guys can have your preseason professional football. I watch my team. I can't watch any of the rest of it. I really can't. But you give me college football, real college football, and I've got, again, 6 games, I think, in week 0, with a couple of decent matchups in my mind. Again, one real good one, the 2 top 25 teams in Dublin at noon. I've got Vegas, as I said, who I like a lot this year, and Dan Mullen's a really good coach. I think Fresno State, who's heading to the Pac-12 next year, is an interesting matchup against Kansas, who was a big disappointment last year overall, but really played well at the end of the year. So I think those games are very interesting in week 0 compared to some of the other matchups we might have had in that week. But week 1, to what Michael says, huge games. Even outside of those 3 top games, Clemson, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, which, by the way, is the 3rd best game in my opinion. I'm going to tell you right now that I love Texas. I really do. What is that game? Ohio State's 2.5. Ohio State lost. I just said, Georgia has managed to recover from a ton of guys going to the NFL over the last 3 years. I think it catches up with them a little bit this year before they maybe probably bounce back into contention next year. Just my opinion. Ohio State, it still remains to be seen whether they can replace 14 guys like Georgia replaced, I want to say 15, if I'm not mistaken, from their last championship team or their first championship team, potentially. I'm trying to remember now. It might have been the first championship game, and then they won another team, and then they won another one. I'm not convinced Ohio State can do that. Getting 2 points on the road. We're going to find out about Arch Manning. It's a dangerous bet, but today I'm leaning towards that's one of my cigar box bets week 1. Week 2, Michigan at Oklahoma will be huge. 2 coaches that are more in Michigan and Venables in Oklahoma are 2 coaches with a lot of pressure on them. Moore's got the advantage of having beat Ohio State last year, which will keep him safer than for longer than if he had not beat Ohio State, based on the year that they had. They'd lost a lot of players. He's got to get his feet under him just the same way that some other guys have had to do. Marcus Freeman, for instance, done a really good job. Maurice Dow's first timer here, but I know Maurice has seen some of my previous podcasts, and Maurice and I are friends on Facebook, and good to have you with us, Maurice. Who do you follow in college football? Love to know who it is when you guys come in, because most of you guys, I know who you follow. I hope you learned from Notre Dame situation last year to hedge. I'm not a hedger, man. I'm all or nothing. Although in that situation, I probably would have been smart to hedge, right? I mean, if I'd bet $1,000, I could have bet. I'm trying to just figure out if I could have bet that game. No, there was no way to bet and win both ways. I would have had to give up money on one side or the other. I've never been a good hedger, right? But that's just what are you going to do? Haven't found my team yet, AC, this year. It was about this time last year where I started to fall on Notre Dame. We're going to check the futures. Maybe we'll check them tonight a little bit. If I can get into my DraftKings, maybe we'll check them tonight a little bit. And maybe we'll make a pick. Maybe I'll tell you guys who the bet is tonight before we get done. Let me just see if I can, without spending too much time doing this. Sometimes they make me log in. Just want if they don't ask, there we go. Fingerprint. We're going to look for futures. You bastards, don't do that to me. Crap. Making me dual notifications. I know it's safe, but sometimes it's a pain in the ass. And Michael, again, going to be posting some writings. Please check it out. Moneyline material is gonna do good this year. Venables needs to win at least 8 or 9 games to be safe. It's doable, but you remember where you are. You're in the SEC. Somebody's going to fail. And he's not the only coach in the SEC who's got some issues. Right? I think we all know there's a few guys that have got some issues in the SEC. Hugh Freeze, the Arkansas coach, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Sam, I want to say Bartman. I know that's not it. What is his name? Where's my college football coaches here? He's ready to be right at the top here. How far are you going? Oops, here we go. What the heck? There we go. Sam Pittman. I don't know why I can never remember the P. He's on the hot seat. I would say definitely Venables, as we talked about. There's 3 coaches right there, at least in the hot seat. And I think you've got as many as you might have as many as 6. Let me see. Let's take a quick look at where's my standings. I hate it when all my I have it all set up to go and then I lose what I'm looking for, because I get it set up hours ago and then I go do another show. I have a little dinner. Who's in trouble? Hugh Freeze, definitely. Listen, Billy Napier's not out of the woods at Florida, even though he had a great finish to the season last year. All of his losses, all 5 losses, were to teams that were in the top 15 at one point or another. Mike Stoops, a guy that I love. I think he's a great coach. I think he's in trouble without a rebound season at Kentucky. We talked about him. He's safe. That's probably about it. Everybody else is probably safe. But listen, winning 8 or 9 games out of that tough SEC for Oklahoma will not be easy. Right? A lot of new guys in town. I'm still having some trouble with my comments scrolling out of control here. see where we left off here. Where was I? Got to be right here. We talked about this where we were with Alan. Heard Keith, I did the second. Okay, good. Perfect. I just want you to make sure that here's what I want, Michael, is people to be able to link back to you, right? We want to share your content, and it's your content 100%, man. We don't do any editing. You know, maybe we add a disclaimer, right? Just in case I do disagree that, you know, the opinion shared below may or may not be the same as TGI Sports Talk. I am not one to muffle somebody's freedom of speech within reason. You could have put like 2 or 3K on Ohio State and would have made money no matter what. I agree. I wanted all of it. I'm all or nothing, man. Just the way I roll. I'm not saying it's smart, EC. I'm just saying. Root for Texas, I'll let you down. Well, you root for Oklahoma. You should probably know about getting let down. By the way, so Oklahoma's had like 2 losing seasons in the last, I don't know, 20 years, and guess who's got both of them? Yeah. Brett Venable. I agree that Texas should win, and I would parlay that with LSU winning at Clemson. I'm not a big fan of that pick. I'm also not a parlayer. I'm a single game better. And you probably would get a nice payout if you're betting a money line on that for sure. Or yeah, actually, I shouldn't say that. Even on the, if you bet the money line on those game on a parlay, and those teams win, you'd probably do very well. But I like Clemson. I think Clemson bounced back this year. You know, as much as I just feel in my bones a little drop off from Georgia, or another drop off from Georgia. If you want to call last year a drop off, they didn't win the SEC. They still made the playoff. But obviously that was not your, you know, grandfather's Georgia team. Well, actually, wasn't your grandson's Georgia team. I think Clemson bounces back, though. I like Dabo bouncing back next year. I think people are burying Clemson too soon. A veteran quarterback, a really good quarterback, second year under the offense of Riley. And I think that this team is going to make some noise, and I think they will be in the playoff. With Texas having teams in Texas. What? Hello, Chris. How are you, by the way? Our Canadian correspondent. Teams in Texas, Oklahoma. Do you have to pledge allegiance? Or can you just say, I love regional college football? Texas doesn't have any teams in Oklahoma, by the way. Texas does have a ton of football teams. Texas Tech, who, by the way, don't forget, Texas Tech somehow has managed to get themselves ranked like 23rd, and they spent $55 million. You remember everybody putting in such a huge uproar over Miami spending $20 million last year on their roster? Well, Texas Tech has got $55 million invested this year. Win or go home. And if there is restrictions put on NIL, because again, they're supposed to be with all new pay for play, with the House settlement that the NCAA had, and the new restrictions that were put in at $20 million for a sports program at a school, sports programs at a school is going to be the cap. And NIL money could not be used as a recruiting inducement, and it has to be used just as a marketing tool, which I said it never would be. If you remember back to the days with the Mad New Yorker, when he would tell me I didn't understand NIL, that NIL was just about marketing opportunities for the players. Does anybody remember those conversations? And when I told him he was as naive as anybody I'd ever met, It's still going to be that way. We're going to go back to, under the table nonsense. Not that savvy on football. Baseball's your game. I knew it was, Maurice. Tune in Fridays at 3 p.m. We do the MLB update. That's all baseball. The Sunday stream of that's 3 p.m. Eastern, by the way, because I'm not sure where you are, Maurice. And on our Sunday stream of consciousness, we talk a lot of baseball as well. So, and Rick had pointed out something that will be a topic of conversation on the MLB update on Friday involving our new female umpire. You're still feeling Penn State? I mean, first of all, you're not going to get a good price, right? I mean, and I find it ironic that, James Franklin's ranked in the top 5. He's ranked 2 in the AP poll, yet he can't beat top 5 teams. He's got one victory in his entire career, unless I'm mistaken. He's got one victory in his entire career at Penn State against a top 5 team. And let's not even get into his record against Ohio State and Michigan, because it's god freaking awful. 175,598. We're going to see if we can get some of these. 175,598. Oh, shit. 75,589. All right. Yeah, I can never. 958. Somebody remember that number. 175,958. This time we got it. No, we don't. Oh, my God. Forget it. If you want to find me some numbers, AC, maybe we'll make a pick. SEC team to fail. So anyway, that's my feeling on Penn State. They have to show me. We're going to find out about Drew Allar, whether his wide receivers are holding him back or whether he's holding back the wide receivers. They've got some really good wide receivers there. In fact, so good that one of them left to go to Syracuse, one of the top in the country. I like to laugh. I'm just looking at there are tips here. Tip hasn't commented, but hi, Tip. Arjun, how are you? ACs we've seen. So anyway, Penn State's got to, until James Franklin shows me something, and you're going to be hearing it here as they go through. I think we went through their. Well, I don't know if we did their record. Did we? Did we do the Penn State record last week? Let's do it right now. Here's my Penn State record. Nevada's a win. Florida International's a win. Villanova's a win. They're going to be 3-0. They're going to play Oregon at home. It's going to be a whiteout. I'll give you that win. Number 7 Oregon, although it's not a guarantee with James Franklin against a top 10 team, I'll give you that one. 4-0. At UCLA, 5-0. Northwestern, 6-0. At Iowa, you're going to lose at Iowa. I'm going to tell you right now, Penn State loses at Iowa. Iowa's going to have an actual offense this year. I love the kid they got from South Dakota State to play quarterback. They'll play good defense and very good special teams. One thing Kirk Francis' teams does is play great special teams. Iowa's going to beat Penn State at home. You're going to go to Ohio State and you're going to lose. You'll beat Indiana. You beat Michigan State. You'll beat Nebraska and you'll beat Rutgers. So you're going to go, and you might make the playoff. You might even make the Big Ten championship. I don't know. You're going to have 2 losses in conference, back-to-back, Iowa and Ohio State. Mark it down. SEC team to fail. Tennessee's a good one. Georgia's my team, though. I mean, to probably disappoint the most in my mind. I know Rick's going to be mad at me, but I'm assuming we're talking about decent teams, right? Tennessee's going to have a rough year. They are ranked in the top. I think Georgia struggles. Florida's 15. We have to find out what we saw the back half of the year for them was a mirage or for real. Are they the team that got waxed by Miami early in the year last year, or are they the team that beat Mississippi State? Mississippi. and some other good teams. Again, all 5 of their losses to top 15 teams last year. LSU, I think this is a pivotal year for LSU, and the defense is catching up with the offense a little bit, but is Nussmeier really that good to be able to carry maybe a mediocre defense? I know James Martin, a big fan, has told me their defense will be better, but they lose their opener every year. This team didn't finish in the top 25 last year. They've really regressed every single year under Coach Kelly. It's another team to keep an eye on regressing. Ole Miss will also, I think, probably regress this year as well. They are ranked. Where are they ranked? 21st. I think there's a good chance they finish out of the top 25. I saw somewhere that half the SEC coaches may be let go after this year. That'd be a lot, Alan. I mean, you got 16 teams in that conference, 8 of them to go. I mean, again, go through the teams. Brian DeBoer is not in danger at Alabama. Pittman, yes. Freeze could go. Napier could go. Obviously, Kirby Smart's not going anywhere. Mike Stoops could go. Brian Kelly, you got a huge payout. I'm going to leave him off my list. Mississippi State, it's his second year. I doubt they'll fire him after 2 years. That's a tough spot. Missouri's coach isn't getting fired. Venable. Kiffin's not getting fired. Beamer's not getting fired. Heupel's not getting fired. Texas A&M, Mike, he's not getting fired. We certainly know Texas isn't firing their coach, and I don't think Vanderbilt's firing their coach. So, I mean, six guys I could see moving. Now, that's getting fired, potentially. Somebody's going to have a good year, that group. And that's not counting guys who might move on their own. You never know about a Lane Kiffin. You don't know about Brian Kelly. Pittman, thank you. I know I'm falling a little behind here. Heupel's safe, but not a good year for the Vols. No, Heupel's definitely safe. Oh, somehow geez, what is going on tonight? I don't know how long I was on mute. I don't know how long I was on mute. But thank you. 65 years old on Friday. I appreciate it. I don't feel 65. Some days creep it up to 65, but we've got just 14 full day, real days left to work. Actually, work days. I've got 10 work days left. Chris Fgrave is a hockey fan, a big hockey fan. Chris is always coming up with some hockey trivia for us on our Sunday Stream of Consciousness. He is in Ontario for sure. Love that baseball knowledge. Thanks. Thank you, Michael. Can you imagine Iowa with an actual offense ever? I think this is a year. This team could surprise. This could be, you think about surprises. I think Iowa is one in the Big Ten that could really be a surprise. It could be, and I won't go so far as to say they're this year's Indiana because I don't think it'd be that big a surprise. That's another good one though. Who's this year's Indiana? Who's going to surprise from one of the big Power Four conferences? Maybe it's Indiana again. Would that be a surprise? Iowa right now is unranked, and I think you'll see Iowa ranked very, very early. Where are the quitters rated? They're not rated anywhere. And I'm not going to fall into your trap, Rick. Hang on one second. Let's just see if they got any votes. Florida State probably did not get any votes. I do think Florida State bounces back this year, though. We went through their schedule. I can see them 8-4. Again, I don't see them bouncing back into a playoff, but this team isn't going to have 3 wins again. I don't see. They got 8 votes in the AP poll, which leaves them 183 away from getting into the top 25. Is this show ever going to go CBS radio route with tons of shouting? I get a little worked up, but I don't think we do tons of shouting. I don't know. I don't think we want that, do we? I don't think we want to see lunatic fringe Keith like 24/7. I do get there, usually not unprovoked. I love you guys. By the way, Michael was talking about the community and in the article that he wrote, and I don't take credit for it. And there were some nice comments put up in TGI Sports Talk chat. And by the way, as I said, if anybody wants to get in that chat and as a loyal follower of this show, you're more than welcome to be in the chat. Just be polite to everybody. Just let me know, and I'll send you an invite. But there's some comments put up about that. Yeah, I didn't build this community. You guys built it around me. And I appreciate that. Everybody who's done that. Jeremy, how are you, my friend? Speaking of Detroit, Michael, we got Jeremy, who's a big Detroit guy. Brian from the Unprofessional Sports Show earlier this evening. Brian is a big Detroit guy. Jeremy, I don't know if we've talked a lot of college football. Who is your team? I'm assuming it's one of the 2 Michigans. Let me know who that is. What else? I was looking at some, see if I can find this article. Head coaches. The trouble is I find these articles and then I lose them. Oh God, it's so easy to lose track of stuff. I'll do some research during the course of the day, and I got an article I want to refer back to, and then I lose it. We were talking about coaches on the hot seat, and I found an article, and I wanted to, and I took a few names down, and I added a few of my own. All right, I've already got Brett Venable on there. Here's a couple other guys that I've come up with. Tony Elliott at Virginia. Tony Elliott's had a tough stop. Clemson, and I mentioned Tony Elliott first because he's another former Clemson assistant who had great success or helped them along to great success, and he's really struggled at Virginia. There's been some circumstances that you wouldn't expect, the shooting that they had and whatnot, and that's tough. I mean, this team is his best record has been 5-7. Which is last year. They had an upset over at least then number 18 Pitt. But they had a couple 3-game losing streaks in that season. This looks like a talented team, but it's not a tough schedule that they have in the ACC. He could probably save his job. I would say he's on a warm seat though. Brett Pry at Virginia Tech. Tech's been a nightmare, including 1-12 in games decided by 7 points or less. This is and again, they have not been good since Frank Beamer left. If you remember, Fuentes, I think, was the coach's name before him. He did not do well. They've got an opener this year against Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer's son, and South Carolina, who I think there are some people who think they will drop this year. We're talking about teams that may drop in the SEC. There's a lot of people think South Carolina won't follow up their strong finish last year. But Norris is going to be one of the Heisman favorites this year. I think South Carolina found their mojo last year at the end of the year, and I think maybe they keep it going. Well, they've got they're playing Clemson, they're playing SMU, they're playing Miami, they're playing South Carolina. going to be tough for Brent Pry to keep his job. In the Big 12, second-year coach Brent Brennan at Arizona. He was following a tough act with Jed Finch, who went to Washington. Finch had revived that program, which had been moribund for a while. He's done a really, really good job. But last year they went just 4-8. It could be 2 and done there. Scott Satterfield, 1 year in Louisville, did very well. Brought a breath of fresh air after the Bobby Petrino return to Louisville, which was not a rousing success. But since he's gone to Cincinnati, they have not been very good. In fact, he had a decent year in Louisville. Then I think he went 4-7. And when Luke Fickell went to Wisconsin, Satterfield went to Cincinnati, and he has not been very good. They're 8-16 overall and 4-14 in the Big 12. Not very good. On the same kind of trajectory, I think Luke Fickell in Wisconsin has got to get it going in year 3. This has been a very mediocre and probably boring football team. That's not a good combination. Mediocre and boring, or bad and boring, never good. I think his seat is warm, and I think Satterfield's, by the way, is very hot. Mike Gundy. I love Mike Gundy. If you guys follow my shows, you know I love Mike Gundy. I like Lane Kiffin. I like those gunfighter, gunslinger type quarterbacks. He spent most of his adult life, he spent at Oklahoma State, either playing or coaching. He went from the favorite to win that conference last year to finishing last, winless in the conference, 3-9 overall. He's got to bounce back. He was very close to getting fired. He took a pay cut. He restructured his staff. And now he's got to get things going. Now, maybe they will bounce back. They've got a new almost brand new defensive staff, and hopefully they can get it back going, because I like Mike Gundy, and I think it would be a shame if he lost his job there. In the Big Ten, I mentioned Luke Fickell already. Probably the only other guy there I can see in real serious trouble, and not serious trouble. I think his seat is only warm, is Mike Loxley, who I like a lot at Maryland. He had a really good first couple of years in Maryland. I would say I think he had 3 consecutive winning seasons to start his career there. But then he went just 4-8 last year, and he didn't win, or I think he won 1 game in the Big Ten. So there's a guy to keep an eye on in the Big Ten. The SEC, where he talked about Pittman, Hugh Freeze, Billy Napier. I'm sorry, Mark Stoops. I said Mike Stoops before. I meant Mike Stoops, obviously. Brian Kelly, again, I guess that is in play, and that would get us closer to the halfway point of coaches that Alan was talking about earlier. But I don't think he's going to get fired, and they're going to eat that huge contract, if you will. The interesting thing is the 3 coaches that preceded him, Saban, the Mad Hatter, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron, all won a championship within their first 4 seasons coaching. This is Brian Kelly's 4th season, so we'll see. A couple other coaches around the country. Trent Dilfer was the surprise pick at UAB over their offensive coordinator. I can't remember his name. Let me just look here. Bryant Vincent, who actually ended up going to Louisiana Monroe, and they beat UAB last year. And I think they've gone 4-8 and then 3-9. I think are the records that Dilfer's had at UAB. So probably not going to be a strong finish for Trent Dilfer there. He'll be going back to TV. And that's really about it. I'm sure we'll find other coaches to talk about as the year goes on. So we've run out of comments, or you guys, or they're not coming up, one or the other. It's very odd that comments will die that fast when we've got as many viewers as we've got right now. But what else have we got to talk about here? By the way, we talked about the top 25, and 18 of the last 20 years, somebody from that top 10 has finished out of the top 25 altogether. I gave you my 3 teams that are possibilities, I think, this year. But the top 25 itself, the average turnover like the last 5 years has been 50%. So 50% of the teams that are ranked in the preseason, which is why preseason rankings are ridiculous anyway. 50% of them do not finish in the top 25, which means half of the teams that finish in the top 25 are ranked out of it. Last year, we saw Indiana unranked go to the playoff. Boise State unranked go to the playoff. South Carolina unranked almost get to the playoff. We saw teams like USC fall out. Who's going to be those teams this year? Any number of possibilities. Any number of possibilities. I mean, when you get to the bottom, Boise State's at 25. Are they going to stay there? Tennessee, we already talked about. Texas Tech better not fall out of the top 25. $55 million invested in his team. Iowa State, very up and down. Matt Campbell always gets a lot of kudos, and he should. Iowa State was not a good football program when he got there, and they've been fairly consistent. Last year, they bounced back from a couple of down seasons. He was always a name mentioned for hot jobs, but they could easily fall back out of the top 25. Indiana's 20. I love Singretti. I think he's a great coach. They may be better than they were last year, this year, but they're ranked 20 to start. We'll see how that ends up. Oklahoma, again, tough schedules, man. SMU, Florida, all these teams. Michigan. Michigan ends up unranked last year. There's James. How are you, buddy? LSU will move past number 9 in the top by the end of the season. Have I gone through? We did LSU's. Were you with me last week? I think I did LSU's record. Here's the thing. Let's just do the record one more time. I think we did it last week. I've got them losing to Clemson. I know you have them going into Death Valley and winning. I don't see it. I think Clemson is going to be, again, they're ranked 4, so it's not going to be this is not a huge out on the limb prediction. I think Clemson is going to be one of the favorites to win it all this year. Lose to Clemson. They're going to beat Louisiana Tech. I think I've got them beating Florida at home. You're going to beat Southeastern Louisiana. You'll go to Ole Miss and win. You'll beat South Carolina. You'll beat Vanderbilt. You'll beat Texas A&M. You're going to lose at Alabama. You're going to beat Arkansas. You're going to win Western Kentucky. And you're going to beat Oklahoma. Now, if that's the case, you got 2 losses. You're 10-2. You're probably in the top 10. That would be 1 league loss and a loss at Clemson, which isn't going to hurt you a whole lot. So if that is the case, you'll be ranked in the top 10. Without a doubt. Possibly in the SEC championship game. You got 1 loss. Probably in the SEC championship game. Now, my question to you is, James, let's assume for a minute, because we were talking about the potential for 6 or 7 coaches getting turned over in the SEC. Brian Kelly is kind of a wild card there. Let's assume for a second that they don't. had that type of season. Let's assume for a second they lose to Clemson. They lose to Florida. They lose at Ole Miss. They lose to Alabama. And they go 8-4. Or they go 7-5. Let's even take it a little further. They lose at Oklahoma. Say they're good. Let's just say they go 7-5. And again, I know you're going to tell me that's not likely, but anything's possible. Why do you get darker in here? Did I turn my? I did. No, anyway. Let's just say they go 7-5 for giggles. Is there a chance they part ways? A lot of money to pay a coach and fire him, but would Brian Kelly say, I'm going to try something different? I think there's some pressure on Coach Kelly this year, James. I mentioned, and I don't know if you heard me at the top, and James says hot seat for sure. You think his seat's hot now? I mean, can he survive a 9-3 season and no playoff? Can he survive that? All the three coaches that preceded him, the Mad Hatter, Nick Saban, Ed Orgeron, all won championships within their first 4 years. And this is Coach Kelly's fourth year. What does he have to make the playoff to save his job? Do we see a place where he walks away? It's a lot of money to walk away from. I'm sure the NFL would probably welcome him. He's dabbled there a couple of times. Michael says Michigan will be in the college football playoff come year end. Wow. Let's look at Michigan's schedule, shall we? Now that is a bold prediction. Let's just look at Michigan's schedule. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to assume Blair Underwood is unhappy with my lighting tonight. Oh, you know what happened? Something happened to my light. Hold on one second. I'm having a lot of freaking technical difficulties tonight. Don't know why. There we go. I still feel like I'm gone into a shadow. Something's happened to my... I hope I didn't lose my front light here because I'll have to buy a new one. Let's assume Blair Underwood is everything we think he's going to be. When I say Blair Underwood, all I think about is L.A. Law, by the way. If somebody can pick up the reference, they can let me know. Beat New Mexico. At Oklahoma, I think you might have mentioned this yourself, Michael. Big matchup for this team. They beat Oklahoma. Could be a springboard. I got them losing Oklahoma. Central Michigan's a win. Nebraska's, by the way, year 4 of Matt Rule's tenure in places has been very, very good. I can't get this. Bear with me here, guys. We're having some technical difficulties here. It's getting darker and darker in here, isn't it? Or is it me? I wonder if we didn't lose power. It's this light. My light is fading. So we could get, I don't know what's going on here. I can't get my light to get brighter. So I apologize anyway. We'll try to get this fixed. Oh, I see the problem. Don't go away. We got to do a little repair work. Where is that thing? Oh, I see the problem. Well, we're going to have to order a new light because it looks like the wire is getting pulled out. My guess is we're running on the battery right now, so it's going to get darker in here, guys, so bear with me. Oh, we've had technical difficulties right and left lately. So in any event, just bear with us, and we'll do the best we can tonight. Anyway, where was I? That trip to Nebraska won't be an easy one, but I'll give you a win. So what do I have you right now? 1, 2, 3. I got you 5-0 after Nebraska. No, I had you losing Oklahoma. Sorry, 4-1. Wisconsin at home, 5-1. At USC, loss. I think USC is going to be a little better than people think. 5-2. Beat Washington 6-2. At Michigan State, going to be better, but still not good. 7-2. Purdue 8-2. Northwestern 9-2. Maryland 8-2. Lose Ohio State. Well, that's 9-3. 1, 2, 3. Potentially losing at Nebraska. I'm going to give you 9-3, a possible 8-4. That's not going to make you to the playoff. I am losing this light here, by the way, so I'm going to try to turn this one up here a little bit. We'll do the show in the dark. I don't know how that wire frays when because it's running on the battery. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, I don't see a playoff, but I see a potential to have a good run. If LSU beats Alabama, will they make the college football playoff? Yes. Definitely. I mean, if they beat Alabama, I wonder if I got everything running on a battery here. It's kind of weird. I swear to God, I feel like I got things shutting down all around me. I feel like I'm in a space capsule where the power's dying. It's very weird. Anyway, yes, if they beat LSU, if LSU beats Alabama, they may have one loss on the year. And I think they'd definitely be in the playoff, and they wouldn't have to win the SEC to get there. Really do. If not, they won't. I think there's a possibility of them losing to Alabama if they win all the other games that I mentioned. I mean, Alabama would only be the only loss they have. I mean, you got to have them losing to somebody else, Michael. If I go back to their schedule. Oh, can't do it that way. LSU, where's their schedule? So again, if they were to lose to them, I've only got them losing to Alabama and to Clemson. So if those were the only two losses, so you got to have another loss for them somewhere else, at least another loss. Because right now I've got them beating Florida, and I've got them beating Ole Miss on the road, and I've got them beating a tough South Carolina team. I've only got them losing one game, and that's Alabama. That'd be the only loss in the SEC. They'll be in the SEC championship game. He could survive one more season without a playoff. LA Law, right? Blair Underwood. Can't remember his character's name now. Wolverines beat Oklahoma, beat Nebraska. Those are big ones. Those are two potential losses, though. Those are two tough road games. You can't argue that. If Blair Underwood is everything we think or people think he will be, I don't know. I haven't even seen him throw a pass yet. Let me watch him against New Mexico, and I'll give you a better read after week one, even though it's not a good football team. Nebraska's going to be – Nebraska, and I know I said this last year – Nebraska and Iowa will be the two surprises out of the Big Ten this year. Be careful. Wolverines will not lose to USC. It's a tough road trip, though. You got to admit. That's 3 tough road games they have there. USC is going to be better than they've been. Another team to watch out for in the Big Ten. Problem is, again, these teams, that's the problem here, right? I say, look out for Nebraska, look out for Iowa, look out for USC in the Big Ten, and look out for Indiana. And the SEC, look out for this one, look out for that one. Well, this is the problem with these super conferences and 16 teams and no divisions, and that cannibalize each other. I got to do something about this lighting before the next show. I don't know if I can get myself a new front lamp before Friday. We'll figure something out. Oh, I wonder if my old one works, my old ring light. We'll find something for you guys. Light looks good to you. I can see it getting darker, and I can see the light fading. It's usually very bright in my face, and you can see a little bit of distortion in the when you can start to see this little bit of distortion in my background. You can tell the light's fading because I'm not getting it lit as good as I should. Although me being in the dark is probably for the best. But thank you for that, Michael. South Carolina. I like Shane Beamer's a really good coach. He's done a great job. Their quarterback is a beast. You talk about beasts. This kid's going to be the front runner for the Heisman in my mind. He came on like gangbusters last year. That team had great momentum at the end. They had no business complaining about, any complaints about not getting in the playoff. They hurt themselves too much early in the year, but I like this team a lot. I do admit, even as a homer, and the Big Ten is loaded more than people realize. I agree. Let's look at the Big Ten. And then I think college football is wide open this year in my mind. I mean, usually you say there's 3, 4, 5 teams that have a chance to win. Look at the Big Ten, though. Illinois, much better under Brent Bielema last year. I think they could be better than they were last year. Indiana, Iowa, better. Maryland, all right, bottom. Michigan State, bottom. Michigan could surprise us. I do like Moore as a coach. I think he'll be fine. I think this team will get righted. I think they might need one more year to get there, Michael. Minnesota, love their coach, just not enough going on there. Nebraska, a team to watch out for. Northwestern, no. Ohio State, well, I think Ohio State finishes out of the top 10. Oregon will be just as tough as last year. Penn State will be fine and then lose, to a top 5 team. Purdue, no. Rutgers, no. UCLA, no. USC, while I think they'll be better, won't contend. Washington, Wisconsin. I think you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give you Michigan. 5 with Nebraska as an outlier. Iowa is an outlier. 6 in Ohio State. 7, 8. I think there's 8 teams that could win the Big Ten. 2 would be huge upsets. Probably 4 would be huge upsets. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. Well, Michigan, that's 4. And Nebraska. 5 of those would be probably huge upsets and huge stories. But I think it's entirely possible that any one of those teams could get to the Big Ten championship game and pull an upset. And when I look at the overall rankings, boy, I'm getting myself all over the place here now. Texas, Penn State. I will say Penn State. I have to say Penn State. As much as I do not think James Franklin's a big game coach, they're a contender. Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami. All the top 10 teams could all win the national championship. I'm going to throw in South Carolina as an outlier. I mean, you want to go way down for somebody to come back? Again, Texas Tech has invested $55 million in this program. You would hope they want something to happen. I'm going to say there's 12 teams that could win a national championship, and probably somebody who's not even in the top 25. Let me look at the best of the rest here. Anybody in here? Iowa. Watch out for Iowa. Making a weird run to the college football playoff. The group of 5 we talked about. James Madison we talked about last week. Very good chance. Vegas I talked about this week. Good chance. Tulane's a team to watch out for. The kid who Ratzler, the quarterback from BYU, is now at Tulane. Navy. Be careful. These are teams that could all win that group of 5 spot. Great point. The mega conferences do tend to feed off one another. They do. And that's why, and Michael, that's also why they want, 4 guaranteed bids to the playoff. You decided you wanted these mega conferences. Nobody made you do it. Kansas State could find a path to the national championship. I didn't put them in one of the teams I thought could win. Well coached. Somebody's got to win that Big 12. Last year, the teams that were competing at the end were all the teams that were picked to finish near the bottom. Colorado, Iowa State, BYU. The teams that were picked at the top, Utah, Oklahoma State, at the bottom of the league. Utah's a team to watch out for, too, now that I throw them out there. Kyle Whittingham is a really, really, really good coach. This team will bounce back this year. If they get some quarterback play, I think they'll bounce back. They could win the Big 12. Big 12 is by far an inferior conference to the Big 12, Big 10, the Big 18, the SEC. But it's very interesting and very exciting because anybody can win. I don't know, Rick. I was talking about this a few weeks ago. I don't think I haven't seen John DeLon in forever. I don't think he was with us last year, quite frankly. And I've said a few times, I hope he's okay. Big LSU fan, big SEC fan, obviously. There was no good football played anywhere in the country other than the Southeast Conference, according to John. And he and I had many arguments over the playoff and that it was not, participation trophy time. Anyway, I don't know what's happened to John, and I hope he's okay. I just hope he got tired of me in the show and nothing else has happened to him. John, if you're out there, we love you and we hope you come back for some more arguments. Could happen, Michael. Army, Navy last year, both were in the running at some point to potentially get that 5th spot. They're playing in a conference that is, I would say, the Mountain West and the AAC are the 2 conferences that are most likely to get that group of 5 pick, right? James Madison will have a chance, but again, their strength of schedule is going to make it hard for them to be the highest ranked conference winner of those 3, let's say. So I would say we've got to narrow it down to the Mountain West and the AAC. I think Army's going to lose a little bit this year, but Navy, I think, is going to be better. And I think Navy could win the AAC. And if they do, there's a very good chance they're going to be in the football playoff. And I think that'd be really great for football, college football. Because there is no NIL money there. Where'd Chris go? I don't know if Chris thinks I've turned into CBS radio yelling and screaming. I do talk louder these days because I don't think I hear very well. I can't believe this light is dying on me. I love this light, and I use it for work as well. I'm going to need something tomorrow. I hope that other ring light I can make work. Maybe I can get one delivered in a day. I love Amazon. Yeah, I looked at the plug. That's why I went down on my knees, not because I passed out or anything. Let's take a quick look. What else is going on in the world of college football? I jotted down. Anything else newsworthy? I talked about Ty Simpson. Not a big surprise winning the Alabama job. Arch Manning we talked about. What do you got here? Carlo, they're speaking of the Mad New Yorker. It appears you're like your name came up earlier, Carlos. You're like Beetlejuice. We talk about you and you show up. Dark Horse A&M. Mike Elko, great coach. They got a great coach. But I think that team is not going to. Last year they were better than I think they will be this year. Let's take a quick look since Carlos brought them up at their schedule. UTSA, they'll beat UTSA, but that will not be a walkover, by the way. Coach Traylor's team is always tough. They'll beat Utah State. They're going to lose at Notre Dame. There's a loss. Auburn, I'll give them a win. That's 3-1. Mississippi State, 4-1. They're going to lose to Florida. That's 4-2. Arkansas, I'll give you the win, 5-2. Lose to LSU, 5-3. Lose at Missouri, that's 5-4. Lose to South Carolina. There's my light now. It's going up and down. Can you see that? Guess we're going to have a light show the rest of the show. That's too funny. Anyway, lose to South Carolina at home. Sanford win. Lose at Texas. This is not going to be a good football team. They're going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. I see this team 6-6. If they're a dark horse, that means you got them with 2 losses, Carlos. So I'd like to know who they're beating of the 6 losses I gave them. Are they beating Notre Dame on the road? I don't think so. They could beat Florida at home. Are they going to LSU and winning? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to Missouri and winning. South Carolina at home, I suppose I could give them that win. I guess we're going to bounce up and down. I apologize if I'm hurting anybody's eyes. And they're not going to go to Texas and win. Maybe A&M can pay. What are they going to pay me for? I got them going 6-6. Thank you so much for the show. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for contributing your writing to TGI Sports Talk as well. Please continue to do so. And guys, please read Michael's stuff. It is really, some of it's really thought-provoking. He's sent me a few things before we got posted today. And I may post those older ones too, Michael, and tag you. I wasn't able to tag you on TGI Sports Talk. I don't know why, because I believe you're following us, so I should have been able to tag you. The Big 12 coming back to be a force. I like the Big 12. It's fun. It's a fun league. Those teams are not as good overall as the SEC or the Big 10. I know that. But we found out last year, pretty much anybody in that league can contend any given year. Who's it going to be this year? Because last year was totally upside down from what was predicted by guys like me. So that shows you what I know, what I was talking about. And the Pac-12 coming back to life. Listen, I talked about this last week, Michael. How about you guys? This freaking thing is driving me nuts. Oh, Christ. Damn lights. It's always something. I talked about this last week. To me, ever since we started realignment, 2012, I'll say, right? And again, there's been realignment all through college football history. It's not like this is new, but this was it was newish because we had a lot of historical rivalries that had to go away and whatnot. But one of the probably the worst thing to me in all of the realignment chaos was the demise of the Pac-12. A conference with 125 years worth of history blown up overnight over money. And Oregon State and Washington State being left to fend for themselves. Now they're trying to piece it back together, and there will be a Pac-12 in 2026. Well, we've got a Pac-12 now with 2 teams still, but in 2026, we'll have a real football conference again. Is it a great conference? No, but there are some decent teams that are coming in there. Texas State was the last one to come in to give them a full complement and be able to play a full football NCAA conference, right? Fresno State. By the way, Gonzaga is going to be going there for basketball. Who's going there? Fresno State, San Diego State, Boise State. I'll give them to you in a second. I got to look at the Mountain West to tell you who's going to be there. And now I've lost my damn boy. Where'd my conferences go? Who else is going there? So Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Oregon State, Washington State, Texas State. Not a terrible league. Not the Pac-12 of old, but at least we'll get some semblance of order back. I won't argue. Listen, let me look at. We've talked about Kansas State a couple of times, and I haven't looked at their schedule. To be fair, Michael, I will give you my fair analysis right now. First game's in Dublin, as we mentioned earlier, versus Iowa State. I'm going to give you a win. North Dakota, Army, Arizona, UCF, Baylor, TCU. I think it'll be 7-0. At Kansas, I'm going to have them lose. I think they bounce back a little bit this year. 7-1. Texas Tech, 7-2. Oklahoma State, 8-2. Utah, 8-3. 9-3. Colorado they beat. I got them 9-3. By the way, that could have them. That would also give them 3 losses if I have them losing to Utah, Kansas. No, what did I have them losing to? Oh, Texas Tech. That would be 3 conference losses. That'd be tough for them to make the playoff. Oh, I missed. Are we talking about the Southwest Athletic Conference, as in Texas, Texas Tech, Baylor, or the SWAC, which was something else? Carlos. You got them beating Utah? Tough place to play, man. And I think Utah will be better. Well, don't be sorry. That's why we're here. Utah will be overrated this year by him. They were overrated last year. Utah and Oklahoma State were overwhelming favorites to win that Big 12, and Utah was ranked in the preseason, but they're not ranked this year. So they're not. I don't think we can call them. Let me just make sure they're not ranked. I don't think they're ranked. Utah is not ranked. Utah does not have any. Utah has no votes for the top 25, which means right now they're not even in. Oh, I'm sorry. Utah's 144. My bad. So Utah's just on the outside of the top 25. I missed them. Those 4 little letters. So I think it's funny, and that's the fun part of perspective, right? I see them as underranked. You see them as overranked. So I get it. Or overrated. I see them underrated. So the SWAC, Michael missing as well. What else did I miss tonight, guys? We covered a lot of ground. Good stuff. We got games. Next week, we'll be talking about games. We'll be giving predictions, and then we'll have actual games to talk about every week. We'll be leading into it. I'm going to get the college football pick'em started this week. I hope to do it tomorrow. I got to make myself a note. We'll have a NFL and a college football pick'em for TGI Sports Talk for you guys to again compete against each other and have some fun. Hopefully. Wanted to see if I missed some other news here. Hold on. Game changer. Who's one team we didn't talk about, we will. Where are the sleepers going to come from? Hello, Paul Spada. How are you? Actually, I did. Quite frankly, I'm a big Utah fan. What did he say? Didn't have a stake in tired, obsolete picks from 3 years ago. Listen, that's not fair. Utah. Hang on one second. Utah's been a very good football team under Kyle Whittingham. Hang on. Utah's been a very good football team under Kyle Whittingham for most of the time that he's been there. He's one of the most underranked coaches in my mind in the country. Yeah, I can't find what I'm looking for. I wanted to find, because I don't think Utah, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, I guess it was 3 years ago, beat Penn State and James Franklin in the Rose Bowl. If I'm not wrong. I can't find there's what I want right there. Let's see how right or wrong I am. Come on, give me some records here, would you? You're not going to give me any records? Really? Oh, that sucks. All right, well, that's not going to work. Hold on. All right. 2023, they lost to the Rose Bowl. In 2022 to Penn State. My bad. But this team, by the way, has played pretty good football. They finished in the AP poll 10th, 12th, 16th. I'm not saying this is Alabama of the West. I'm just saying it's better than what you think. So I did buy into him. I was a big Cam Rising fan. And when Cam Rising went out for the third year in a row, things went to hell. So where am I here? What's happening? I got a lot of comments here all of a sudden. Hello, Paul Spada. How are you? Let's go with the picks. We'll get the picks up this week, I promise you, and I'll post it to my private page and to TGI Sports Talk. No, you don't need to be sorry, buddy. Paul's doing great. It is fair. Utah was the most overhyped team last season. I'm not saying they weren't. I mean, again, they're when I say they were overwhelmingly picked to win them and Oklahoma State were probably two of the most overhyped teams in the country at this time last year. So you're not wrong. Again, as I look back, I'm misremembering. My memory doesn't always do as well as you think it does. The nurses are looking for me at the homes. I gotta get going. Mike and Utah has those 6-year seniors. There's a lot of those 6-year seniors. That's going to dry up after this year. The COVID passes are gone after this year. The NCAA is supposed to be going back to a model that says you have 5 years to play for. We're going to see 9th-year seniors like Miami had last year. Go Oregon, Paul in Wisconsin. I love Kyle W., but come on, he's gonna. This is probably going to be his last year. Only so many missionary players from Samoa can carry you past quality opponents. Why we got to offend the Samoans? I'm joking. Are you guys enjoying the light show here? Oh, that's pretty funny, though. We got to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes. They have kids go on mission trips and come back and finish school and play. Yes, they're older, but they're not going to get to play 6 years of football anymore. They're going to get, they're always, BYU, Utah, they've always had older kids playing against younger kids for sure. Rising had an Achilles that was reliable as a 63 Buick. I think it's old. I think Cam Rising's entire body broke down at one point. I am wrong more than I'm right. 1/10 of the time. That's all of us here. And Michael, you'll learn very quickly. You may have heard me already say this, that I live by Billy Packer's motto that I am sometimes wrong, but never in doubt. I love the smallest. Oh, guys, what a great show. Great show today. Great show today. We're actually going to have games to talk about next week, which will be fun. And then we'll have some results to talk about the week after that and some really, really big games in week 1. And I'm excited to be back, our second week back from our annual summer hiatus. When you talk to me again next week, I will be 65 years old, and I will be 7 days from retirement. Woohoo! Guys, have a great night. Music playing now? What is going on? Can you guys hear? I have no idea what's going on. None. Everything's gone for kerflooey on me here tonight. So anyway, no music playing. Echo from TGI Sports Talk. Football Huddle. We'll do better next time. I promise, guys. Have a great night. I'm going to get these up here, by the way, quickly. Peace out. See you guys later. See you next week. Bye-bye. Keith Engle. I'll play my own music. How about this? I'll play this on the way out because nothing will play anyway. So. Let's see if Mac's old jingle plays.
Keith Engle, the guy with the sports talk show. On the internet, he's the guy that we are.
It won't play. So we're out of here. Bye-bye. Nothing more can go wrong. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.